Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going down a rabbit hole that a lot of you have been asking about.
Yeah, this one's been highly requested.
Yeah, a lot of you are fascinated by this, and honestly, so are we.
A perennial favorite, you might say.
Yeah, we're talking about the reptilian conspiracy theory.
Ah, yes, those shape-shifting reptilian overlords lurking in the shadows controlling world events.
Sounds like a sci-fi movie, right? But hey, some people really believe this stuff.
And it gets even juicier when you consider one of the main targets of this theory, the British royal family.
Oh yeah, the royals, the lineage, the history, all of that pomp and circumstance. It's like a magnet for conspiracy theories.
It's like they embody this idea of inherited power, and that can be a breeding ground for all sorts of speculation.
So where do we even begin with this? Well, let's start with the ancient roots, right? The whole reptilian concept didn't just pop out of nowhere.
You got it. We're talking serpent gods, ancient myths, and creatures that straddle that line between human and something else, something otherworldly.
Okay, so think ancient Sumeria, the Anunnaki. Those powerful beings that descended from the heavens, often depicted as serpent-like.
Exactly. Those ancient tales planned the seeds for what would later evolve into the modern reptilian conspiracy theory.
So it's like these stories tap into some primal fear or fascination we have with reptilian creatures.
Right, it's woven into our collective unconscious, this weariness of serpents.
But how did this ancient idea morph into this full-blown conspiracy theory we know today?
Well, that's where David Icke comes in.
David Icke, the former footballer turned conspiracy theorist.
The one and only he really brought this theory into the mainstream in the late 20th century.
So he took those ancient myths and gave them a modern spin.
Yeah, he claims that these reptilian beings aren't just mythological figures, they're real, and walking among us disguised as powerful figures controlling world events.
Okay, now that's where things get really interesting. So he's saying these reptilian beings are shape-shifting and pulling the strings from behind the scenes.
Exactly, and what's so captivating about his theory is that it plays on that fear of the unknown, that feeling of being controlled by forces beyond our comprehension.
It's like a real-life episode of The X-Files.
Right, and of course one of the most intriguing targets of Icke's theory is the British royal family.
Ah, yes. The royals, he suggests they're part of this reptilian bloodline, a lineage that's been secretly controlling the world for centuries.
I mean, think about it. The royal family is steeped in tradition symbolism and this history that stretches back generations.
It's like a recipe for conspiracy theories.
Right, and proponents of this theory will point to certain royal symbols like crowns or scepters as having reptilian connotations.
Oh, I see. So they're interpreting those symbols through a very specific lens.
Exactly, and they'll also scrutinize photographs and videos claiming to see fleeting glimpses of reptilian features in the eyes or movements of the royals.
It sounds like they're looking for patterns that confirm their pre-existing beliefs.
It's a classic example of confirmation bias at play. People tend to seek out and interpret information that aligns with their existing worldview.
It's like seeing what you want to see.
Exactly. But it goes beyond symbols and interpretations. There are actual stories and accounts that fuel this theory.
Like that chilling tale from the former Buckingham Palisade.
Oh, yes. That story is a wild ride, even if it's presented with a believe it or not kind of framing.
So what's the story this former aide claims to have witnessed some strange stuff, right?
Yeah, strange is an understatement. Unsettling, encounters creepy vibes, and even a terrifying reptilian transformation involving a prominent member of the royal family.
Hold on, a reptilian transformation. Are we talking full-on shape-shifting here?
That's what the story claims. It's a scene straight out of a horror movie.
Okay, I'm hooked. Tell me more about this aide story.
Well, it starts with this growing sense of unease, this feeling that something is deeply wrong within the palace walls.
Like a creeping dread.
Exactly. Then come the strange encounters. A mysterious man in a gray suit whispers in foreign languages, a shadowy figure in the East Wing, all building this atmosphere of paranoia and hidden agendas.
It's like a slow burn thriller drawing you in with these unsettling details.
And then things escalate. The aide claims to have witnessed this ritual, a prominent member of the royal family, transforming into this reptilian-like being.
Wow, that's taking things a whole new level of weird.
Right, but it doesn't end there. The aide also claims to have stumbled upon documents outlining a centuries-old conspiracy detailing a symbiotic relationship between the royal family and a mysterious council.
A symbiotic relationship that sounds cryptic. What could that even mean in this context?
It's the million-dollar question. What's the nature of this relationship? What are its goals? The ambiguity, the unanswered questions, it all adds to the intrigue.
And of course, the aide eventually escapes, fearing for their life, leaving behind this chilling account that's been shared and analyzed by those who are drawn to the reptilian conspiracy theory.
It's like the aid offered a glimpse into a world of shadows and secrets, and then slammed the door shut, leaving us with more questions than answers.
This is getting really good.
It's hard to say for sure if this story is true or not, but it definitely captures the imagination and makes you question what we think we know about the world and those who hold power within it.
I think this is a perfect spot to take a little break.
Sounds good. When we come back, we'll delve into some more details from a couple of YouTube videos that explore different aspects of this fascinating conspiracy theory.
Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, folks. Hope you grabbed your tinfoil hats because we're diving right back into the reptilian conspiracy.
We were just talking about that former Buckingham Palisade. That story is so creepy and intriguing.
Right, it really makes you question what goes on behind those palace walls.
Even if you're skeptical, it's hard not to be at least a little bit captivated by that account.
It plays on that fear of the unknown, right? The idea that there are these secret forces manipulating world events.
Speaking of secrets, you mentioned some YouTube videos that delve into this theory. What can you tell us about them?
Yeah, there are two videos that I think are worth mentioning. The first one is from a channel called Sci-Fi Mysteries, and it frames its exploration of the reptilian conspiracy as a science fiction story.
Interesting. So it's presented as entertainment, but it still draws on those core elements of the theory.
Exactly. It's like they're walking this line between fiction and reality, which somehow makes it even more captivating.
So what kind of stuff do they talk about in this video?
Well, they recount various alleged encounters with reptilian beings, cryptic messages, hidden symbols, that kind of thing.
Sounds like a lot of classic conspiracy theory tropes.
Oh, yeah. And there's also this prophecy about a catalyst, a turning point that signifies the reptilians' complete dominion over humanity.
A catalyst that sounds ominous. What kind of event are we talking about here?
They leave that open to interpretation, which just adds another layer of intrigue. Is it a global event, a political shift, a technological advancement? Who knows?
So it's like a choose-your-own-adventure for conspiracy theorists.
Right. It allows viewers to project their own fears and interpretations onto the narrative.
I see. So even though it's presented as fiction, it still plays into those anxieties associated with the reptilian conspiracy.
Yeah, it taps into that primal fear of being controlled by forces we don't understand.
It's like a thought experiment, a what-if scenario that lets you explore the implications of this theory without fully committing to it.
Exactly. Now, the second YouTube video we have is from a channel called Sci-Fi Central, and this one takes a different approach. It's presented as a documentary.
Okay, so two different styles, two different perspectives. What kind of insights does the documentary offer?
This one delves into the historical and psychological aspects of the reptilian conspiracy. They spend some time talking about ancient Egypt.
Oh yeah, we talked about the ancient Sumerian connection earlier. What about Egypt?
Well, they focus on this concept of chimeras, creatures composed of parts from different animals.
Chimeras like the Sphinx.
Right, and the video suggests that the ancient Egyptians might have viewed their pharaohs as something otherworldly, possibly even chimeric beings.
So these rulers were seen as being different, set apart from ordinary humans.
Exactly, and the video argues that this perception of rulers as other might have contributed to the lizard people myth.
It makes sense, right? This idea that those in power are somehow not like us, that there's something else entirely.
And the video explores how this myth could have evolved over time and taken on new forms in different cultures.
It's fascinating how these ancient ideas can still resonate with us today.
The documentary also delves into the psychology of conspiracy theories in general. Why people are drawn to them.
Why do you think people are so fascinated by conspiracy theories?
Well, I think it has to do with a need for control, especially in a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable.
When things feel out of control, it's comforting to believe that there's a plan, even if that plan involved reptilian overlords.
Exactly, and the documentary talks about how conspiracy theories can offer a sense of order, a way to make sense of a world that often feels random and confusing.
It's like finding a pattern in the chaos, even if that pattern is based on a belief in a secret group of reptilian beings.
And the documentary also acknowledges the potential dangers of belief, right? How conspiracy theories can lead to fear, distrust, and even violence.
That's an important point to remember. It's one thing to entertain these ideas, but it's another thing entirely to let them consume you.
It's all about balance. Curiosity is healthy, but we also need to be aware of the potential pitfalls of falling too deep down the rabbit hole.
We've talked about ancient myths, YouTube videos. What about secret societies? How do they fit into all this?
Ah, yes. Secret society is always a fan favorite. The reptilian conspiracy theory often intertwines with groups like the Freemasons, the Illuminati, the Rosicrucians, the usual suspects.
So these secret societies are supposedly infiltrated by reptilian beings or working to further their agenda.
That's the idea. It adds this element of paranoia and suspicion, the sense that there are these powerful forces operating behind the scenes, manipulating events for their own benefit.
And of course, the symbolism used by these societies, often featuring serpent or reptilian imagery, is seen as further evidence of this connection. So it's not just the royal family, but a whole network of powerful individuals and organizations supposedly connected to this reptilian agenda.
Right. It creates this vast and intricate web of conspiracy that encompasses history, politics, even the very nature of reality itself.
It's a lot to unpack, but it's definitely fascinating, even if you don't buy into it.
Absolutely. And it's important to remember that we're dealing with a theory here, not proven facts.
Right. We need to approach these ideas with a healthy dose of skepticism and critical thinking.
Exactly. We need to be willing to question the information we encounter, to seek out evidence, and to consider alternative explanations.
And to remember that while these theories can be intriguing, they can also be dangerous if taken too far.
It's all about finding that balance between curiosity and caution, between exploring the unknown and staying grounded in reality.
This has been a really thought-provoking conversation.
It's a theory that continues to capture the imagination and provoke debate.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the reptilian conspiracy.
As always, we encourage you to do your own research, draw your own conclusions, and let us know what you think.
Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next time with another intriguing topic to explore. Until then, keep those minds open and questioning.